Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. I hope you've all had a fantastic and voluminous royal week. A voluminous and voluptuous royal week. Again, a lot has gone on. There's been so much going on. So I think we should go straight to questions. The format is exactly the same as each week. Please say hello or post a question or a comment or converse with other people in the chat room. I, of course, will read as many comments as I can because obviously when this video goes live on my main channel, people who are watching on catch up can't see the chat room. So that's why I try and read as many questions as I can. If I do miss your question and it was really important, then please type it again. You've got more chance of me seeing it because these live chats get busier and busier each week, which is fantastic. We have our resident moderator, Jamie, in the room. So please behave because he's very good at timing people out. But basically, the rule for the chat is just to have fun and be courteous and kind to each other. I do believe in freedom of speech, so you can say whatever you want, even if it's negative about a royal. But if something gets too personal towards another member, or you continue to say the same thing and over again, Jamie will, of course, take action. So the rule is just be kind and courteous to each other and treat everyone how you would want to be treated yourself. So I'm going to go to the very top of the chat to see who is here and say hello. So I'm going to say hello to Ingrid, hello to Betsy, hello to Jamie and Donna. Okay, I'm just going down to see who's here. Hello to Christine and Sherry Sherd. And Ingrid's here and Janice Hunter. And Hooked on Jesus is here. And Vinnie Blair and Nina. Okay, I am really literally whizzing through all these names just to say hello and get to the bottom. Hello to Jen and MSMB 2012 and David Penner and HA Bracken. Oh my goodness, there's so many people. And Danny and just me. Okay, I'm at the bottom of the chat, so I can start taking your questions. Oh, and Loretta says, hello, Elliot. I hope all is well with you. Glad to see you and be with you for the chat. Well, I'm glad you're here too, and I'm fine. Thank you so much. Ingrid says, I wanted to ask you, do you think or know if the Queen at 92 takes any medications, high blood pressure or otherwise? Well, we don't know because the matters of the Queen's health is personal and confidential, and only things that are of very strict importance, such as, for example, if she had a medical emergency or, you know, if something was to drastically happen, we may find out a few details, but the Queen's personal day-to-day health is not discussed in the media or disclosed. So basically, we are not going to know any details of the Queen's health. Let me go back up. Vinnie Blair says, was my hair not behaving? It looks pretty. Well, usually I have my hair up and it's flat. I've had a flat hair day, which I don't often have. I very rarely have flat hair days, but I have today just because I wanted one. Now I'm going to go and find where I got off to with these comments. Here we go. Okay. And Stacey Lamb says, hello from Ewing in New Jersey. Okay. Sia Moon says, hi, Elliot. Don't you look dapper? Hi, everyone. And all the friends from Central California. Lots of people commenting on Meghan's look. And of course, she wore a trouser suit or pantsuit. Lots of people calling it a tux. And yes, of course, she always looks amazing. And I think one of Meghan's trademark fashion things that she wears often is going to be trousers. I think she's shown that maybe, you know, she does wear dresses, and when she does wear them, she does look really good. But I think one of her trademarks is going to be wearing trousers. So one of her trademarks is definitely going to be wearing trousers. And I do agree. I think she looked absolutely fabulous at the event for the Endeavour Fund, which she attended with Prince Harry, and I did make a video on that, so do go and check out the photographs from there. She did look absolutely incredible. And I also did a follow-up video of Prince Harry's speech, which he made, and he did make a really good passionate speech. Andrew Mundell says, that's very true, but you can tell if she's been feeling unwell if you look at her sometimes. To be honest, I haven't noticed. I'll have to look a bit closer. Loretta Hurd says, what is Prince Philip doing since his retirement? Well, of course, he's not doing royal engagements anymore. He has taken part in some things with the Queen, but he's basically just enjoying himself mainly at Sandringham, we do believe. He has a kind of a man cave at Sandringham. Now, it's not the sort of man cave that you and I might have, such as a room or a basement or an attic or a shed. He has a whole kind of country house, country manor. And when the Queen is at Sandringham, when it's not an official royal holiday, she spends the time with Prince Philip in this kind of big farmhouse described as a cottage on the estate, and she spends her time there with Philip. And of course, he does all the hunting, shooting, fishing, carriage driving. And of course, they do also spend their weekends at Windsor, so he will go to Windsor for the weekend to be with the Queen too. So they have quite a varied, I suppose, retirement for Prince Philip, but the Queen has to return to Buckingham Palace for her working week. And of course, she has started her programme of royal engagements in earnest. Jamie says, making popcorn, already burnt a bag. Oh no, I hate the smell of burnt popcorn. Janice Hunter says, do you think Meghan's sister will be invited to the wedding? Well, that of course depends on if they are on good terms or not, which of course we don't know privately. So we will have to wait and see for the guest list. Just Me says, Meghan looked stunning. David Penner says, does Princess Eugenie and Beatrice work, and how do they support themselves? Well, if you go to the Duke of York's Twitter, you can see a lot of the charity work that they do. They have previously held jobs, but they are not official working royals. I'm unsure at the moment as to what their precise jobs are, because they have changed jobs. I think they did. One of them worked for a magazine, then another worked for a banking facility at one point. They do often chop and change, but they are involved heavily with charity work, even though it's not on an official royal capacity. They don't receive any money specifically for them from the Crown, from the Queen, but they are supported, of course, by their parents. Vinnie Blair says, loved everything Catherine wore in Scandinavia. And of course, the Scandinavian outfits, I think, were quite controversial this time. And Vinnie Blair continues, well, except for the florals. Well, those are the ones that I'm referring to. But her trademark is happy and cheerful, even when you know she isn't. Okay, let's talk the Scandinavian royal tour. So, Prince William and Catherine, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, embarked upon a 4-day tour of Sweden and Norway. 2 days in Sweden, 2 days in Norway. They started off in Sweden, and Catherine wore, well, let's just say straight away, it was a very successful tour. They certainly did what they were supposed to do, and we'll get to that on the second part of this this topic, which is called soft diplomacy, and I will explain to you exactly what soft diplomacy is in a moment. But back to the fashion. So the fashion, she wore 2 rather controversial, shall we say, Erdem dresses. And Erdem is a designer which she wears quite often. But of course, you know, she has to choose dresses to suit her pregnant state, because of course she's pregnant, and you know, she's quite far gone now. You know, the royal baby is due in a few months' time, so she has to wear fashions that are going to look good with her baby bump. Even though it's not a humongous baby bump that you would expect. You know, on the tour she was playing, you know, hockey, and yeah, you know, this sort of bandy hockey, and she was taking shots. So she's doing really well in her pregnancy, but she has to wear fashion that's going to suit the growing bump. And these Erdem dresses were very, very floral. One kind of yellowishy one and one bluey one, very floral. I think they were either dresses, gowns that you loved or you hated. I don't think there's any much in between on them. The fashion for the rest of the tour, I think, was spot on. And she wore one really flowing evening gown in Norway, and she looked absolutely fantastic in this sort of pink floral flowing gown. Reminded me a little bit of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and she looked amazing. And I made loads of videos on that this week, day by day, sometimes event by event. Sometimes I split the day from the evening. There's video footage, news reports that I filmed from the UK. So do go and check those out and let me know what you think about the tour. Did you think it was successful? Now, my second part of this topic was going to be about soft diplomacy. And I did make a video where the British media was talking about soft diplomacy, but I don't think it touched on it enough about what it was. So in the UK, we have something that we use called soft diplomacy, or rather unofficially soft diplomacy. And the form that takes for us, for Britain, in my country, is the royal family. We can use the royal family to send them off on official state visits, such as the Sweden and Norway tour, to kind of woo the nation, or to woo the prime minister, or the foreign king, or head of state, whoever it might be, to kind of make good relations. And that is what soft diplomacy is. And lots of countries who have, for example, a president don't have that, because it's always official. If the president makes a state visit, it's official and political. And of course, the royal family is non-political. So even though they're sent there on behalf of the government in an official capacity, they are non-political. The politics is kind of taken out slightly. And even though they may be touching upon political subjects, it's seen as soft. It's a soft approach. It's the personal relations. It's the wooing. It's the the trappings and the pomp and the ceremony, the dinners. It's all about the visits and the engagements. And you can really get good relations between a country by using their heads of states or royal families, or prime ministers and royal families to discuss things and make good relations. And that is basically what soft diplomacy is. And Britain uses the royal family in this way, and has done for, well, I think, as far as we've had kings and queens, we have had soft diplomacy, and it works really, really well for the UK. And that's why I said I think that this tour was really successful, because it looked like everyone had a good time. There were so many smiley faces. And of course, we are using soft diplomacy in this instance because of Brexit, because of Britain leaving the European Union. And whether you are in agreement with Britain leaving the European Union or not, I think the fact remains that Britain is leaving it, and we should be forming as many good relationships as we possibly can in the time that we have to do so. And the royal family are being used in this way to do such a thing. And I think William and Catherine have done Britain proud. I think we should all applaud them and be really thankful that we have them to be able to go and make these good relations that politicians sometimes otherwise can't. And that is basically what soft diplomacy is and how it is useful for the UK. Letta Hurd says, what happened to the book club? Do you think we can concentrate on one royal each live chat along with the regular questions? That's a good idea, actually. We could definitely do that. And I could set out which royal it's going to be on Patreon or on Facebook before the event. In fact, I might try that next week. But as regards to the book club, I think people were finding it quite hard to sort of stay with each other. So, for example, if we said we're only going to read 2 chapters this week, some people would read 5 and be well ahead, or some people might not have the time and may read under. So I think the timings of the book club were kind of not working. I think the book club needs to have its own thing, its own video, and also it wasn't fitting in very well with the live chat, because some people that weren't in the book club were getting bored when it got to the section of the book club because they weren't involved. So it didn't fit into the main live chat, and people were having trouble keeping at the same pace as each other. So it kind of fell by the wayside. But if you'd like me to restart it as a separate thing, with separate videos and that kind of thing, or even have a book club maybe in a Facebook group, I could open a Facebook group where you can discuss and read at your own leisure. That might be a better idea. So let me know if you'd like me to start the book club back up again. Leave a comment, not in the chat here, but on the video when it goes live, so that I can see that comment and see if you're interested. SDCN says, Kate looks old. Her dresses were terrible. Oh no. I didn't think they were terrible, but some of the Erdem dresses I think were a little bit questionable. David Penner says, I watched this special on the Smithsonian channel called Inside Buckingham Palace and History of the Different Residences of the Queen. Did I see it? I think I have seen this one, but a long time ago. And if it's the one that I'm thinking of, because I've seen lots of documentaries on Buckingham Palace and inside it, then it was good. If it's the one that I'm thinking, was it the one with the lady with the curly hair? That's the one I'm thinking it was. And if so, then yes, I did think it was very good. Jen is back. She had to restart her phone. Andrew Mundell says they must spend most of their time now in Windsor. In the week, Prince Philip is in Sandringham in a separate cottage from the main house. The Queen sometimes, when she's available to, visits him there. At the weekend, I do believe they still go back to Windsor. Okay, now I'm just going to go down because I've been talking for a while, so I've probably missed a few questions. Let me go and find them. Patricia Bento says, Hi Elliot, greetings from the Azores. Hello to everyone in the Azores. Meghan Kane out absolutely fine from the trouble with the winner's name at the evening event. She got control of the situation gently and professionally. Well, of course she is. You know, she's good at public speaking. She's good at being in front of the camera, and I think she will conduct herself brilliantly and expertly. And I really want to get to the point where we see her deliver a proper full speech. Of course, we've heard her speak, but we haven't heard her deliver a speech. And I think she will probably quite enjoy and be good at doing speeches. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. Andrew Mundell says, sorry, they're spending most of their time at Windsor these days due to the renovation at the palace. They tend to try and renovate the royal apartments in the palace when the Queen is on holiday, either in Balmoral or Sandringham, or indeed at the weekends if there's stuff that can be done. So they try and make the disruptions as less as possible for the royal family. But of course, there may be points in time where they do have to kind of decamp a little bit to Windsor, which has been mooted as something that is perfectly acceptable to the Queen, and probably quite comfortable for the Queen too, because she does consider Buckingham Palace to be more of an office than a home. Jen says, you brought a new mug and it keeps your tea hot for up to 7 hours. Well, I've got mine. And for those of you who are wondering, it is okay. The dishwasher didn't destroy the pattern underneath. What's happening is when I'm filling it up and it gets hot, it's condescending. It's forming condensation. I haven't got a condescending cup. I've got a condensation cup. And it makes little sort of like heat bubbles. But once the liquid's out, the pattern goes back to normal. So I haven't ruined it. The colours are still fine. And I do still have my London mug. And it does keep my drink hot and it helps my throat when I'm doing so much talking. David Soriano says, Her Majesty should give you a knighthood. Well, I think so too. If I did, I would wear I would wear it the whole time. Wow, no, a knighthood would be amazing. I mean, you have to do something really special to get a knighthood, though. You either have to be involved really heavily in charity work, have made a real difference, or have done something really notable in a field, not a grass field, in a field of something like music or TV or film or a charity sector or something. That you have to have done a service for something. And I mean, I suppose my day job is quite fulfilling and rewarding. I work with disabled children, so that's something that maybe is worthy of an MBE. I think that's maybe MBE level. But I think I need to do a few more things to get up to knighthood level. Maybe services to entertainment. Maybe, I don't know. But yes, if anything was offered, I would gratefully receive and be highly honoured. But like I say, you have to have done something of note that the committee that grants these honours, the honour committee, would get behind. And you have to be nominated, and you can't nominate yourself. You have to be nominated. Loretta Heard says, I heard Meghan's sister was going to be working with a local news station during the wedding. Don't know if that's true. And I have to say, I don't either. I do try and stay away a little bit from the gossip surrounding her family. Oh dear says, her dresses were very conservative and a little Laura Ashley 1970s look. I agree. And I think that's probably where Erdem is at with their designs at the moment. You didn't love them, but better than skin tight knits with the belly button sticking out. Yes, I mean, like I say, she has to dress appropriately for her stage of pregnancy. And it was conservative. She was covered. It was daring, and it certainly caused a lot of controversy. Maybe that's what fashion is supposed to do. But either way, like I say, it's what we call in the UK Marmite. Marmite is a spread you have on toast that people either love or hate. And her dress was definitely Marmite. Her dresses were definitely Marmite. Ingrid loved Catherine's choice of dresses. Best I've seen her wear ever. I think perhaps her style is changing. Well, she has competition now, and I think already, even in the early stages, Catherine and Meghan are both going in kind of separate directions. We have Meghan, who is championing the trouser suit or the pantsuit or the tux, kind of, I suppose, gender fluid fashion, maybe. A little bit I don't know, modern. It's modern. It's a modern look. Whereas Catherine has always been sort of dresses and very fitted, nice, hats and fascinators and that kind of thing. Meghan, I don't think is going to go that way. We also have Catherine, judging by this tour, pulling away and wearing, taking a few gambles, a few risks, such as the Erdem dresses. Let me know. Let me know in the comment section if you did like the Erdem dresses, which will prove whether it's Marmite or not. So I reckon we'll probably have 50-50, 50% that like and 50% that don't like. And also let me know what you think about Meghan's fashion as well. SDCN says the tour was a disaster. They're boring and phony. Will and Kate are dull. That is your opinion. And of course, we believe in freedom of speech on this channel. I'd like to know why you think it was a disaster, though. I mean, I certainly didn't think it was boring. They had the times when they were, for example, on the ski slope, when they were doing, I think it was called bandy hockey. There were lots of opportunities where they got to try out different things. And of course, we also have to think that concessions were probably made for Catherine's pregnancy. She couldn't be running around completely on the tour. And I certainly don't think it looks phony. Tell me why you think they seemed phony. I would like to know, and they'd probably like to know. I mean, if Kensington Palace is watching, maybe they'd like to know why you think that they're appearing phony. Okay, replenishing my fluids. Jamie says, Catherine's growing bump, aka the next Duke of York. It could indeed be, because obviously Beatrice and Eugenie cannot inherit that title. Vinnie Blair is concurring with SDCN. They are dull, but they tried. I think it was successful in terms of the soft diplomacy. And I have to say, I didn't think it was too dull. I'm not quite sure why people are saying it's dull. Let me know why you think it's dull. MSMB 2012 says, yes, soft diplomacy, very smart. My country could use a lesson or two on this topic. SDCN says, why are we discussing Meghan's family when we haven't discussed Kate's drunken, abusive Uncle Gary? Well, I quite concur on the discussing Meghan's family. I think they deserve a certain degree of privacy, at least until Meghan's married into the family. And as for Catherine's Uncle Gary, well, he's just a law unto himself, isn't he? He's the kind of Sarah Ferguson of Catherine's family. And of course, he does cause quite a bit of controversy. And again, I do think that he, should get some degree of privacy. And I will let some lower rate publications, both in newspaper and on the internet, discuss him. Vinnie Blair says, constantly smiling can be boring. The snowball in William's face and the bandy hockey were out of character and therefore interesting. Yes, I have a clip of the snowball in William's face, which I'm going to turn into a video possibly tomorrow. Betsy says, is Brexit still popular or are people regretting Brexit? Well, it depends who you listen to. Because the vote in the first instance was fairly close, we have a great group of people who would love there to be a second referendum, and lots of people who present their own opinion as fact. And those are often, at the moment, the side that didn't get their own way. So the people that wanted to stay are kind of putting out there things such as people didn't know what they voted for, there should be a second referendum, blah, blah, blah. People didn't vote to be poorer, although people aren't necessarily poorer yet. But I think what you have to remember is that there was a vote. The vote was to leave. It was a democratic vote. And to go against a democratic vote is to go against democracy. And if you go against democracy, what is there? There is only dictatorship. And I'm afraid you cannot have one side of the argument being a dictator. You have to respect democracy. Now, at the point of a second referendum, again, that would kind of throw snow in the face, going back to William, of democracy. So yeah, I mean, there was information put out there at the time of the original vote, and David Cameron, the former Prime Minister, did say with George Osborne, the former Chancellor, that people in the UK would be £7,000 a year worse off. So these people that are now on the Remain side, who are saying people didn't vote to be poorer, well, actually they did, because the information was put out there that you'd be £7,000 worse off, and there would have to be an emergency budget put in place in the UK. That didn't happen, and people aren't £7,000 worse off. But people did vote still for Brexit, with the information being put out there that they would be £7,000 worth off. So that kind of shoots that argument a little bit in the foot. So yes, Brexit is happening, but it's happening very slowly. And who knows what twist and turn the path will take. We will have to wait and see. The first Mrs. R says, I thought the tour looked very successful. I liked the pink floaty dress, but I thought it made her bump look huge. Well, she is heavily pregnant. It looked much better than it did in any of her other outfits, in my opinion, of course. Yes, but I kind of quite like the floaty look. But, of course, she is working with her baby bump. She's got to dress for the baby bump. David Penner says, I hope I'm still alive when Prince William becomes king. I remember when at the funeral of his mother, a British reporter was so ecstatic about him, saying that's our future king. Yes, and much like you, I can't wait until George is king. I mean, I hope I'm still alive when George is king, or even George's children are king, if I get to live to like 150 or something. Yeah, so I'm kind of waiting for George to be king. Very much the same as you're hoping you're still alive for Prince William to be king. MSNB 20, maybe we'll all make our goals, life goals. MSNB 2012 says, was this the last royal tour before Harry and Meghan's wedding? For the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, I do believe so. I don't think there's anything else on the cards. And of course, Harry and Meghan are doing kind of like a mini stop tour of the UK on and off. So yes, I think official big tour. Although the Wessexes are on a tour of Sri Lanka at the moment. Maybe Charles and Camilla, but I'm not entirely sure as of yet. The first Mrs. R says, we do kindness when the First Lady makes a trip without the President. Is considered non-political and hence soft diplomacy. Well, there you go. Jamie says, cough, cough. I was that guilty one who read 5 chapters. Going back to the book club. Yes, you were. You were the guilty one. David Penner says, what will Prince William as a monarch be like? Well, I think he is... I'm trying to think who to liken him to. I would liken him, in terms of being a monarch, perhaps a little bit like George V. George V wanted to kind of make the monarchy very stable and a little bit reclusive. He kind of drew back a bit. He wanted them to be kind of on this pedestal and didn't want to let too much light in on the magic. And I think that's what Prince William will kind of go back to. Prince William is a lot more serious as a monarch, I think. I mean, people might say Charles is quite serious. I think Charles will be a bit more progressive, actually, in his outlook. But I think Prince William will go for the more respectable, quiet, duty first, in a way, a little bit like his grandmother, the Queen, but in the sort of male form, perhaps of maybe George V. But maybe obviously showing a little bit more fun and excitement than George V. But I think, I'd say in terms of male monarch, maybe George V mixed with a bit of Queen Elizabeth. He's certainly a lot more serious. MSNB 2012 says the Facebook group is a great idea for the Book of the Month Club. Yes, if people want me to, I can start up a book club Facebook group, definitely. But let me know if you do. Okay, let me go back up. I think I've missed a few more questions. Okay, I'm going up. Okay, MSNB 2012 says, do I have a Facebook group now? Yes, I have a Facebook Royal Reviewer page and a Royal Reviewer Facebook group. I also have a private Facebook group for patrons as well. So if you are a Royal Reviewer patron on Patreon, I have to get that right, then you have access to the private Facebook group. But yes, I do have a page and a group that anyone can join and look at. Christine says, yes, a book club would be fun. Ingrid says, I watched The Windsors on Netflix for about 2 minutes. It's supposedly a spoof, but not funny at all. Yes, well, I did the same as you. I turned it off after 2 minutes and didn't watch anymore. And I do believe, and I've said this before, that it has a republic agenda. So people that want rid of the monarchy. And I think it's definitely fueled and written by people who want rid of the monarchy. That's the vibe that I got from watching 2 minutes of the first episode. MSNB 2012 says, I got Robert Lacey's Great Tales from English History for Christmas. But it might be a little long for a book club selection. I can't picture the one you mean, so I will have to go and have a look on Amazon later. But yes, maybe staying away from things too heavy might be a good idea for the book club. Ingrid says, did I ever find some clothes? Yes, today. I found some today. And I'm going to make a video for my other channel, Elliot Phillips Aspects of My Life. So do hop on over there. And I made a video last week where I couldn't find any clothes. So I went out again this week. I'll just let you know now on this channel. It's got nothing to do with the royal family. But yeah, so I was after some just casual, normal clothes. And we have a TK Maxx. I don't know what the equivalent is in America or Canada or Australia or wherever you are, but it's the sort of store where you have just rails and rails and rails of probably old stock clothes. slightly designer of nature, but it could be last season or whatever. I suppose a little bit like an outlet store, but in the UK it's called TK Maxx, and there's one in almost every town. So there I was. I normally hate these sorts of shops because you have to flick through the rails trying to find something that you like. So bearing in mind the previous week I'd been to all these different shops, including designer shops, I couldn't find a thing. So I was flicking through my size in the rails, each item by item, and I hate doing this. But I did come across 4 t-shirts that I liked. So I took them to the changing room, tried them on, and I kept 2. So I do have 2. I have two new t-shirts, and I will show them on my other channel. So yes, so I am happy I found 2, but I wanted to find 5, so I've still got to find 3 more. Jamie says, condescending. Wow, you can't even get on with your mug. Yes, a condescending mug. Christine says, I'm happy Ringo is finally getting a knighthood. And Vinnie Blair says, did I apply for a press pass to the wedding as I suggested and add the link to chat? No, I haven't, because basically I didn't think I'd get one. Maybe I should. I don't know. Do you think I should? Really? Let me know. Diamond Danae says, sorry, I am late. Hi, Elliot. Oh, back to the press pass thing. Maybe I haven't, because maybe that's a little bit of self-doubt. Maybe I'm kind of thinking that people would say, you're a YouTuber and you want to press pass. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of self-doubt coming in about, being, I suppose, a news outlet or an information outlet on YouTube. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Do you think it's worth a punt? Do you think I should have a go? Diamond Jane says, sorry, I'm late. Hello to you, Diamond Dino. Yeah, let me know in the comment section. Okay. Diamond Danae says, never tried Marmite. And the first Mrs. R says, Marmite is a great analogy. Try Marmite. You are either going to love it or hate it. And yes, Ringo Starr, because he was a Beatle and made a big contribution to British music and world music, I suppose. David Soriano says, I want to be the president of the US. And at that point, I think Prince George could be the king. So you would be president to reinstate the monarchy? Or do you mean that you'd be president at the same time? Let me know. Let me know. Actually, that's a good question. If you were president of your country, or prime minister of Canada, or prime minister of Australia, or wherever you're from, if you were the top head honcho in government in your country, would you like to install a monarchy? And if so, who would it be? Would it be someone homegrown from your own country? Would it be a family or a dynasty that already exists in your country? Or would you invite a foreign monarchy to be your monarch? Let me know. I am very interested to see what the responses would be. Oh dear says, Meghan is getting in touch with her inner Hillary Clinton look. Yes, Hillary Clinton is a proud, I don't know what the word is, a proud wearer of the pantsuit, or trouser suit, as we say in the UK. Jamie says, I'm not sure if the monarchy will last. If you look at my generation, they don't seem unstressed in the monarchy the same way their grandparents did. Well, that's why a channel like mine is so important. And that's why I suppose one of my initial mission statements, if you like, for the channel was to get more and more young people, I think what they're called now, Generation Z or X or Generation something or other, and millennials as well, into the monarchy, interested in it, involved in it, make it palpable and real and accessible. Accessible, I think, is a good word. That's one of the reasons why I started this channel in the first place. So, I'm hoping that people, as they age as well, will get more and more into the royal family. Maybe you have to kind of be a certain age to appreciate them and understand them. I don't know. But at least having a channel like this on YouTube gives younger people the opportunity to stumble across it and find it. Or, that's why, again, why I say at the end of every video, I say, if you've enjoyed this video, share on social media. because it's got more chance of meeting the sorts of people that I really want to get involved with the royal family, and to bring them into this channel and get them hooked. So yes, get people hooked, share my videos, and hopefully they will be discovered and seen by more and more young people. So yeah, that is one of my main missions for this channel. Christine says, no, not Hillary. And SDCN says, Kate's dresses are extremely ugly, but Meghan is lovely. That kind of rhymes. I like it. Let's have more rhyming. David Penner says, why are Prince George worth more money than his sister? I read that he's worth $40 million. What? Not sure if I read fake. I think you read fake news. Prince George is not worth. I mean, I doubt even Prince William is worth 40 million, yet alone George. No, I think you definitely stumbled upon some fake news there. Prince George will not be worth hardly any money at the moment. I mean, he'll only be worth whatever money he's been given by his parents, and I doubt very much they've given him 40 million. They may obviously have started a bank account. I mean, most young children have bank accounts opened in their name where parents can put money in and savings and that kind of thing. Perhaps he's got one of those. Of course, we don't know. I am just speculating on that, but he certainly isn't just worth 40 million. No, I think that is a fabrication of an expression of fake news. Yes, so don't believe that. I definitely don't think that's true. No, I mean, like I say, I doubt even Prince William is necessarily worth 40 million. I mean, I also read some old fake news about money and the royal family this week. And I don't know if you know, but there was a man called Christopher Hitchens. I don't know if you've read or watched any of his things or articles or clips of him speaking on YouTube, but he is very anti-monarchy, and he made some rather appalling comments about Princess Diana. And he was discussing in one video I watched about the divorce, and he was very much basing his comments on elements of truth, but the way that he was expressing them was kind of putting opinion as fact and trying to manipulate how people perceived his comments. And he was putting Princess Diana down, saying that she was dull and uninteresting, didn't have any wit, was unintelligent, had never read a book. I mean, he was saying all these things that, he couldn't possibly have known. That's just opinion presented as fact. But on the issue of the divorce, he said that she was given 2 palaces. Well, of course, she wasn't given 2 palaces. She was given the use for life of her apartment in Kensington Palace, but she wasn't given the whole palace. So by saying she was given a palace, makes people think she was given a whole palace. No, she was given an apartment within a palace, but only kind of leased for her life. So she wasn't actually given it entirely. And she was given the use of St. James's Palace, the state apartments, for official work capacity, which of course a lot of the royals have use of. So again, she wasn't given St. James's Palace, she was just given use of for work. For work on behalf of the state or on behalf of the royal family. She was not given 2 palaces. So that was the one thing that I disagreed with. The next thing that he said was that she was given, was it 1 or 2 private jets? I'm like, what? She was not given a private jet. No, when I checked out the facts, she was given use of the royal family's private jet at the time. At the time they had the royal plane. And she was given use of it to go on official work. She wasn't going to hop in it and pop off shopping or anything like that. So again, he presented it as if she was given her own private jet. No, it was use of for official work capacity. So again, that was very misleading and opinion as fact. But the biggest whopper of them all was that he said that she was given £600 million in cash for the divorce settlement. And that, again, was a complete fabrication and fake news, because she was actually given £17 million and £400,000 a year. And I believe that was for life. So 400,000 a year for life, 17 million lump sum. Her apartment in Kensington Palace, use of the state apartments at St James's Palace for official work, and use of the royal transport, including the private jet, for official work capacity. So it's very easy for people to present opinion as fact, or to take little chunks of fact but say it in a way that make people perceive something else. Now, this Christopher Hitchens is not here to defend himself. He died, I do believe, 2 or 3, maybe 4 years ago. But, you know, his work is still out there to be criticised, and quite rightly too, because, and pulled up on, you know, he should be pulled up on it, because his articles are still out there. You know, the clips of him on television are still out there for people to see. So people can still see what he said and may get the wrong idea and be confused and believe the opinion as fact. So if you come across him on the internet somewhere, be aware, because he is anti-monarchist, or he was anti-monarchist, and his opinions and views are still out there. So beware, is my point. Okay. Jen says Catherine is stunning. Diamond Danae says Catherine wore what was needed for where she had to be in Oslo. Meghan looked great. Hope she will not be changed. Christine is thinking they are both lovely. Donna says, I didn't like Kate's fashion at all, but Meghan's was great. Oh dear says, I think William and Catherine have a more conservative and introverted personalities than Harry and Meghan. Yes, I would completely agree there. So maybe they appear dull. I think they are doing just fine. I agree. I think they are doing just fine. And I think, you know, maybe the sort of steady and stable approach for the next royal family going, you know, after Charles and Camilla, maybe is not a bad thing. Janice Hunter says, do you live near where the wedding is taking place? No, I do not. It would be awesome if you could go live as they drive by. That indeed would be good. But no, I'm afraid I don't live near Windsor. MSNB 2012 says, will Charlotte be the Duchess of York? No, they have changed the succession rules. Not sure what it's called. Well, I have a different prediction for Charlotte. Of course, when the title becomes vacant of the Princess Royal, I think Charlotte could be the next Princess Royal. Of course, up until the point where that title becomes vacant, she may well be known by different titles. Of course, when William becomes the Prince of Wales, she will be known as Princess Charlotte of Wales, not Princess Charlotte of Cambridge. She'll be kind of upgraded to Princess Charlotte of Wales, very much in the same way that Prince William and Harry were Prince William and Harry of Wales. Of course, you know, when she gets married, her husband may be given a title, who knows? Or by that point, she may be the Princess Royal in her own right. I don't know. It's one of those things where we, again, are going to have to wait and see. Because of the succession changes, it's not quite the same as when Princess Anne got married. So indeed, the husband of Charlotte could receive, you know, a title. Who knows? Could be an earldom. She could be a countess. Could be a dukedom. She could be a duchess. We will most definitely have to wait and see. And we have a long wait. The First Mrs. R says, I would think that Meghan has more leeway in terms of style since she is not the future queen. She still has to be royal and demure, but Meghan can be a bit edgier. Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, Catherine can be daring. Princess Diana, or Diana, Princess of Wales, had her moments where she was daring. You know, when she slicked her hair back, when she wore, you know, low-cut tops. I mean, I would say Princess Diana was more daring than Catherine. I think it's just Catherine being just generally more conservative, I suppose. But yes, Meghan certainly, I think, will have her own style and will we'll run with it. I think the trouser suit, pantsuit look is probably going to be one of her trademarks. Jen says Catherine is stunning and she's also pregnant. I agree. David Soriano says, what do you think Catherine's baby name will be? Oh, boy. Oh, boy, let me think. Oh, could be David. Maybe David. David or... Oh, I don't know. It's a hard one. I hate guessing baby names because I never guess them right. Maybe Arthur. Prince Arthur. Okay, I'm going to hope for Arthur. For a girl... I think everyone would love Diana, wouldn't they? I think everyone would love Princess Diana. But I don't think it will be. Diana could be a middle name. Possibly Elizabeth or Victoria or Alice, maybe. Vinnie Blair says, Meghan could up her game also. No need to be timid to stand out. Guess she is feeling her way until she is married and working full time. Of course, she has a lot to learn. And she will be on this steep learning curve. Jamie says, every family has a guy like Uncle Gary. And Milotus Blossom says, do not think it's a contest between them. They will be family. They help each other to change. I liked Catherine's very flowy modern goddess. Yes, I did indeed love the fashion, and I agree. It shouldn't be a contest. They will both have their own individual styles. Diamond Dene says the vote was 51%. Am I correct? Yes, I do believe the Brexit vote was round about that percentage. Jamie says, and if you're thinking my family doesn't have someone like that, then it's probably you. You're most probably right. Vinnie Blair says, I agree. Catherine and Meghan will be great friends because of their husbands. They will raise their kids to be close cousins because of the closeness between the brothers. Ingrid says, I don't see Jamie's name here. What is his name? Jamie is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II in the chat room. I think I've just answered what royal baby names I like. Hooked on Jesus says, I'm curious what Harry likes as far as a woman's attire goes. Perhaps he's influenced some of what Meghan wears. I think the other way around. I think Meghan's influencing his fashion because he, in recent months, has upped his fashion tremendously. He's wearing matching outfits, coordinating outfits, and I think he's happy and encouraging of what she wants to wear. So rather than the trouser look being his look, his preference, I think he's supporting her preference and saying, well, actually, look, it's okay. You don't have to wear dresses if you don't want to. Wear trousers. And I think he's just being supportive of what she wants. But also he's coordinating and perhaps taking on a little bit more style tips from her. Ingrid is agreeing with me. SDCN says Meghan should be respectful of Catherine, but she should keep her distance. You don't trust Catherine. Hooked on Jesus says the jury is still out on that one, but it's hard to tell. Okay, I've just lost a load of comments. Let me go back up. Okay, let me go back up. Okay, I've definitely lost quite a bit. Going back up, going back up. I hate it when it skips. Okay, I really have missed loads. Okay. Here we go. MSNB 2012 says, leave it to the person who chooses the name Hooked on Jesus to call a member of the royal family a particular name, which I'm not going to say. And Jamie says, sorry to say, but George V reminds me of my nan's old grumpy cat, who was so stubborn, clinging on to life to the very end when they had to put it down. Oh, that's an awful thing to say. Whew, stop. Ingrid says, what is my favourite dinner? My favourite dinner? Ooh, let me see. Well, my favourite, I suppose, British type of dinner would be the traditional fish and chips. I like fish and chips. And if you've not had fish and chips, the British way, and by the way, chips aren't like potato chips, like you have in a bag. They are like fries, but bigger and fatter and more fried. If you haven't had a traditional British fish and chips, if ever you come here, do have one. I like pasta things. I like anything with cheese in. I like cheesy things. But yeah, fish and chips is probably my best kind of like junky food thing. David Penner says, I just found out today I won't be able to watch Prince Harry's nuptials because my cousin's getting married on that day. Ugh, so mad. We'll tell them to reschedule their wedding. How dare they? Christine says, I think George V was so stern, not like William. Arnold Sanders says, plenty of pictures of Catherine's skirt getting in and out of cabs. I don't want to see that. She should do the Duchess land. Melodious Blossom says, how is the weather there? It was a little bit rainy and cloudy today. Ingrid says, great. Here it's called TJ Maxx. Why on earth did they change it to a J or a K? Which one came first, TJ Maxx or TK Maxx? But yes, ours is TK Maxx, and I'm really confused at why it's TJ Maxx. That's weird. Cindy says, are you part of the royal family or just a host that talks about them? Well, I wish I was part of their family. It's only an accident of birth that I'm not royal. But yes, I'm a host that talks about them. I suppose an unofficial commentator on the royal family. I'm someone who's interested, who has a personal interest like you do. I mean, if you're here watching this channel, you have the same kind of interest that I do. So yes, I talk about the royal family and share my knowledge of what I've acquired over the years about them, and talk about up and coming, events and things that have happened in the news with the royal family. I just indulge my passion for the royal family. The first Mrs. R says, thinking about William, have you or anyone in your audience seen the YouTube video titled Within the British Royal Family by JB? The resemblances are pretty amazing in some cases. No, I haven't. But maybe I should. Oh, by the way, some YouTube channels have started using the photographs that I've kind of pieced together in my videos, in their videos, including thumbnails. And I think there's one channel called, what is it? This is Life, or This Life, or something or other. Anyway, it made a video about tiaras and rings, and it used the same 4 photographs that I compiled together of the rings, and also some tiara pictures from my video. They screen grabbed it and used it in their video. So some people are stealing my content, I suppose. So just beware of some people stealing. Jen says Catherine is not dull. Jamie says, yes, apply for press pass. You have nothing to lose. You are more qualified than half the people there. Well, I would love it. I really would. I wish they'd just kind of contact me and say, do you want to come? That would be a lot. I think I'd feel more validated if they just contacted me and said, would you like to come? And I'd be like, yes, I really want to. Odia says, a knighthood for banging on a drum. I think it should go to me for working with disabled children. Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with, I suppose the importance of the 2 separate things, but they are in different fields. That's why we have honours for different fields of things. So I suppose even though Ringo just banged on a drum, as you say, it was important banging on a drum in the field of music. So the 2 things shouldn't really be unfairly compared. But yes, if anyone's watching and you want to give me a knighthood, please do. Janice Hunter says, go for it. Try for the press pack. Let me look down for the comments. Betsy says, yes, I should go for a press pack. Diamond Janae says, please, you have a group following. Get a press pack for the wedding. Okay, everyone's saying yes. MSMB says, absolutely yes. I agree with Jamie. You're far more qualified than half the people who will be there. Donna says yes. Okay, maybe I should. Maybe I should just go for it. Ingrid says, yes, I should be invited, and you're planning on writing a letter to the Queen this week, and you're putting a good word for me and the channel. Thank you so much. Oh, by the way, with regards to letters, I still haven't had a letter back from the Cambridges, was it? Cambridges and Princess Michael of Kent. And yes, the ones I've only had two responses. I'm trying to process in my head who they were. I had one from Harry and Meghan, and I had one from the Queen. I haven't had Charles and Camilla, the Michaels of Kent, and the Cambridges. So I'm still waiting. Please hurry up. I'm waiting for my, it's way past Christmas. And I did send it a few months prior. So let me know if you've received yours from them. Stephen Jameson says, apply. Okay, maybe I will just have to. MSMB 2012 says, don't forget to hit the like button to support me. Yes, hit the like button and give me the thumbs up. Betsy says, no monarch, but love the British monarch. David says, what time will the wedding start? Does anyone know? I'm not sure about the time. We will have to wait and see. Ingrid says, trouser suit. Love that. Well, we call it trouser suit. I think in America, I've heard it referred to as pantsuit. Pantsuit. Because, of course, we don't call trousers pants. We call trousers are trousers. They're what you wear on your legs. Pants are what you wear under your trousers. Yes, they are underwear. Pants are underwear in the UK. Janice Hunter says, we call them pantsuits. Trouser suits sounds much better. Yes, you should just call them trouser suits then, if you want. You can call them whatever you want. Diamond Danae says, those younger than my generation do not care for the royals. Who knows, it may change. Cindy Cortez says, do you answer everyone's questions? I try. I do try. But because I talk, obviously I get behind on the questions. So sometimes I'll zoom down to try and catch up. So if I do miss your question and you really want me to answer it, please say it again. Slightly Stacked says, do you know if Jack Brooksbank will receive a title after marrying the princess? People have been discussing it, but nothing has been decided, and it's probably likely not. But of course, Princess Eugenie will not lose her title. But it's probably unlikely that he will receive one. But who knows? He could be offered an earldom. We will have to wait and see. The first Mrs. R says, I'd like to see a monarchy, but no family from the US. We'd probably end up with a Kennedy or a Clinton, and I'd rather not go there. Maybe King Henry I of America and Queen Meghan. Wow, that would be something, wouldn't it? If America invited Harry and Meghan to be their king and queen. Wow. Try getting that one through Congress. The first Mrs. R says, or we could just join the Commonwealth if you all will have us. Well, actually, I think that would be actually quite a good idea. And to be perfectly honest, when America became independent, if the Commonwealth was in existence at that time, then that's probably something you would have been a part of anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think restoring the monarchy in America is probably a step too far for a lot of people, but joining the Commonwealth is probably something that you could do. I mean, certainly under Donald Trump, you've probably got the biggest opportunity you have to do something like that, because of course Trump has British and Scottish in particular connections, with his mother being Scottish. He has a great affection for the UK. So to join the Commonwealth would probably be something that he would be interested in. I don't know about any future presidents, but certainly Trump would probably be in favor of that. He could offer, he could ask, couldn't he? And see what is said. Joining the Commonwealth wouldn't mean anything different politically for America. It would just be like joining another club. And of course, the Queen is the head, or the British monarch is the head of the Commonwealth, which is believed to be agreed that will be passed down to Charles when Charles becomes monarch. it could happen. That's more feasible, I think, than a restoration of the monarchy in America. But yeah, I see no reason why America couldn't quite simply and easily join the Commonwealth, particularly after Brexit. And Jamie has changed his name from Queen Elizabeth back to His Majesty Jamie. Well done, Jamie. Cindy says Charlotte is worth more. I think we're going back to the money thing. I don't think anyone knows what they're worth, but I certainly don't think 40 million. Vinny Blair says you can but try. You owe it to yourself and to us. I sometimes think that Meghan must have a lot of self-confidence to even accept the first date with Prince Harry. Well, she certainly thought it was something that she could take on. Hooked on Jesus says, hell no, she will not reign over me. Cindy Cortez says Charlotte is worth $3.85 billion. I bet she wished she was. And James Med 4 says, keep a non-political monarch as the head of state. Having a Trump is a nightmare. Well, of course, I've said this before, but Trump in the UK means to pass wind or to break wind. When people in the UK say, I'm trumping, or I've had a Trump, or I've done a Trump, or I heard a Trump, it means when someone has broken wind. So we find it quite funny, quite a funny word. And of course, when he flies everywhere and he's got Trump written on the side of a plane, or he's got Trump Tower, imagine what we think, because it means something completely different in the UK. It's yeah, Google it. Google Trump as a word in the UK and see what the definition comes out as. That will be quite interesting. But yes, you know, I mean, I've often wondered if America did reinstate the monarchy, I don't actually think it would affect anything politically in America, because you'd still have your election system. You'd still elect someone to run the country. They wouldn't be a president, they'd be a prime minister. But it's still, you know, the prime minister of America would still have the same power that, well, no, actually, it would still have the same influence that the president has, but the head of state would be the monarch. But I think it would be really interesting to see, you know, America could build an American palace, the Palace of America. Wouldn't that be interesting and fun? You could have your own palace. You could assemble your own set of crown jewels, so that whenever the king or queen went to America, they could wear them to open. You know, you could have a state opening of Congress with, you know, you could invite Prince Charles or William or Harry, or someone could come to open Congress wearing the crown jewels. Wouldn't, you know, how would you like that? Let me know. Let me know if you like that idea. And I'm not trying to push a monarchy on you. I'm just, you know, putting it out there as something to surmise how it would look if America invited the monarchy back to the country. But I think politically it wouldn't affect any elections or anything like that. You'd still elect your own government, run your own country. It would just be a change as having a head of state. Would that make you feel good? Would you feel the same kind of continuity that we get from a monarchy in the UK? You'd certainly be able to use soft diplomacy. Let me know what you think. Quite fun to talk about. The first Mrs. R says, George's dollar value is based on the amount of money his and Charlotte's fashions have brought into the British economy. So it's not his personal wealth, but more like his star power. Ah, well, that I can agree more with. So yes, they are very influential when it comes to fashion and style and bringing in business. It's kind of like back to that soft diplomacy thing. And yes, George and Charlotte are still capable, even at their young ages, of being soft diplomats. Vinny Blair says, so come on, Elliot, have some self-confidence. The press office at the palace is very modern, and they may be well aware of your channel. I hope so. I don't know, maybe I am slightly self-deprecating sometimes. Oh dear says, Hitchens is dead now. He had a knack of giving people the hitch slap. Well, I wish I wish he was alive that I could invite him to be a guest on my channel, because I certainly have a few things to say to him. He'd get royal reviewer slapped. Ingrid says, can you show your partner sometimes on your channel? We'd love to say hello. My partner is very camera shy and hates photographs taken and turns the other way whenever I get a video out and hates video cameras. So I very much doubt I could. Wild horses would have to drag him in front of a camera. So yeah, that's probably not going to be likely. But maybe one time I might just catch him off guard. Maybe that's my challenge, to catch him off guard. Jamie says, I think many are reporting George is worth more than Charlotte because they are including their inheritance. Well, I don't think they have that much personal wealth in terms of money. As I said before, they may very well have bank accounts. William and Catherine may be putting money in on a monthly basis. Who knows? I don't know. But in terms of their star brand power, then yes, they probably are worth to the UK economy, you know, £40 million each. Who knows? It's quite hard. It's quite a hard sum to work out. James Medford says Hitchens was awful and said unkind things about the Queen Mother when she was in her 90s. Yes, he said very unkind things about so many royals. And then when people challenged him, he called people hysterical to try and validate his own misguided points. And yes, you know, he would base his opinions on an element of fact, but the way that he would present it to people made them think in a negative way about the monarchy. So to say, for example, that Diana was given 2 palaces at the divorce there's an element of truth. She was given use of 2 palaces, but she wasn't given the whole palaces as her own personal palace to do with as she wanted. He misguides. He takes an element of truth and spins a web of deceit that some people, you know, with all this fake news fall into. And yeah, you know, just be wary when you come across things that he has had a hand in previously. Articles, books, TV appearances, interviews, they are still out there. Even though he has died, his words, his webs that he spun are still out there. So be very, very wary. Christine says, I have heard of that Hitchens person. Hasn't he written some trashy books? Yes, he most certainly has. The First Mizar says, Jamie, the report I saw floating around put Charlotte's value higher than George's because people spend more money on clothes for little girls. And I can't believe I remember this. Well, there you go. I haven't seen any of those articles, I must say. MSNB 2012 says, too bad they didn't provide Diana with security and she would still be with us. Indeed. Indeed, indeed. Christine says, I heard she didn't want it. Yes, with the security, she refused to have royal protection. When she was with Dodi, when she had the fatal car crash, she was using his bodyguards, but the bodyguards are not the same as royal protection. They do not have that higher level of training. Royal protection officers are like up there and bodyguards are like there. Bodyguards take orders from their boss, which was Dodi. So they are obviously have an agenda to want to please their boss, to keep their jobs. Royal protection officers don't. They are employed by the government, by the police force, to look after their charge. So the royal is not their boss. They do not have to take orders from the royal. They can override the royal that's in their charge with matters of safety. So, for example, if the royal wanted to go to the high street and the protection officer said, no, you can't go, it's too dangerous. I've assessed the situation. These are the reasons why it's too dangerous. You can't go. The royal couldn't do anything. They would, you know, and if they did storm off, on their own, then the protection officer would have the rights to stop them because of their own protection. A bodyguard doesn't have that power. If the charge said, no, I'm going anyway, there's nothing the bodyguard could do because they're the employee. They can get sacked. So there is a big difference between a bodyguard and a royal protection. Royal protection is way more safer. Okay, I'm going to go down a little bit in the comments to try and catch up a little bit. So if I have missed anything of yours, then please let me know. Okay, Ingrid says, I think Meghan's look is great. As you said, the trouser suit suits her. And of course, she's from Suits. Did she wear a trouser suit on Suits that suited her? MSMB 2012 says, my point is that she did not have royal protection because Charles insisted that she had to give up her Royal Highness status. No, I do believe that she didn't want it. I do believe that it was Diana's decision to do away with the royal protection. It is fake news that's been put out there that it was Charles's idea. Charles did not insist on her giving up the royal protection. I think it was muted that he insisted upon the Royal Highness going, but not the royal protection. It was Diana's decision and hers alone to disband the royal protection because she wanted her freedom. That's why she wanted it. She wanted the freedom and to break ties with the royal family. Ingrid says, what type of woman would you like as far as style? I like, shall we go for an era? Let's go for an era with that question. So in terms of women's fashion through the eras, what do I think? When do I think? I think what you're trying to say is, what do I think maybe period in time was the best for women? I have to say, I really, really, really liked the sort of 40s, 50s look on women. That sort of 40s, 50s, sort of, Marilyn Monroe period. I think women really took great pride in their appearance. And I know we're going to get in slightly into the grounds of, maybe, feminism. I don't know. I think modern feminism has probably taken maybe a different format to what the original form of feminism was. But women in the 40s and 50s dressed classy. They dressed, they took really great care of their appearance and their hair, and the makeup always looked really good. I mean, when you look at young girls today with the makeup, oh my goodness. I mean, they've got these thick caterpillar eyebrows, which they stamp. I mean, there's eyebrow stamps. There is now eyebrow stamps. They stamp these caterpillars on their head, and they're like 2 inches thick, and they go up and down, and they don't have any little points at the edge. They're awful. I mean, the makeup is just awful. Then there's all this contouring, and it gives you these cheekbones, and no, they look. I think women's makeup and hair all messy and scrunched up and down, and no, I don't. I have to say, I do not like young girls' fashion choices today. Then they wear these things with side boob showing, and their stomach out with their tattoos, and they've got sleeves, and no, they look absolutely appallingly dreadful. It's revolting. Back in the 40s and 50s, they had class and sophistication and stuff. I mean, even Wallis Simpson looked amazing. Her fashion was amazing. Back in that style, they had the nice sort of like slightly wavy hair, like the Marilyn Monroe styles. I think they look really good. I mean, even, going back to the 90s, Anna Nicole Smith brought back a little bit of that sort of 40s and 50s glamour with the hair and the makeup. I mean, Anna Nicole Smith's makeup was on point. It really was. So yeah, I like the 40s and 50s type look in terms of fashion, and I hate how young girls are dressing today. It's disgusting. David says, will Prince William restore Her Royal Highness title back to his mother when he becomes king? Well, I have thought about this. It is a possibility. He's never said one way or the other if he will, but it is a possibility. If he issued letters patent to retrospectively, I mean, he wouldn't even have to do it directly. He could retrospectively issue a letters patent to say that divorced mothers of future monarchs retain the HRH style and title post-divorce. And he could say that that is retrospective for the past 100 years, which would include his mother. So automatically, without even referring to his mother, by issuing that letters patent, would give her posthumously back that title, so that whenever she's referred to in the future, as in books, in magazines, in articles, in biographies, on TV, they could address her again as Her Royal Highness Diana, Princess of Wales. So yes, he could do that. And I've always thought that if Diana had lived, what would he have given her title-wise? Well, I've always thought that maybe at the point of Camilla and Charles's wedding, that would have been a really good point to address Diana's title. Had she lived, I do believe that could have been a point when Charles and the Queen could have got together and maybe given her back the HRH at that point, which would have kind of smoothed the way a little bit in public opinion for Charles's marriage to Camilla, because it would have seemed like bringing Diana back into the fold as well. So I think at that point she could potentially have got the HRH back. Of course, this is, pie in the sky talk, because we'll never know, but I do believe that would have been a good chance. Also, at that point, she could have been given a different title. She could have relinquished any Princess of Wales type title, and she could have even been given a Duchess title in her own right. Maybe she could have been the Duchess of Sussex, or the Duchess of Windsor, or the Duchess of something. Or she could have been made a princess in her own right, which she never was as the Princess of Wales. So she could have been made Princess Diana of the United Kingdom. So at that point, she could have been known as Her Royal Highness Princess Diana of the United Kingdom, or Her Royal Highness the Duchess of something. And that's what I think would have been like the likeliest situation to have happened had she lived. But let me know what you think. Barbara says, do you think Meghan will use her given name of Rachel? No, I think because of all the communication on Kensington Palace Twitter, the engagement announcement, the name that Harry uses when he addresses her is all Meghan. It's Meghan, Meghan, Meghan. So I do believe that Meghan will be the name that she'll continue using, even though her real name is Rachel. But I think at the nuptials, we are not going to see a Harry marrying a Meghan. We are going to see a Henry marrying a Rachel. I do believe that they will have to legally use their correct names. And of course, Harry is a Henry. So I do believe we will see a Prince Henry marrying a Rachel. So I do believe for that occasion we will see those names, but unofficially I think they will continue to be addressed as Harry and Meghan. Okay, I'm going to move down a little bit. Ingrid says Meghan may sport the 40s look with a pantsuit. I do believe she will. Let me go back up again because I've missed a few more questions. Going up, going up. Okay, I'm still going up. Okay, I really am quite far up the comments. Let's go, go, go. Okay, going up, going up. I don't want to miss some of these comments. Okay, I've just seen one skip by about Marvin the calendar. Okay, going up again. Oh no, I really have missed loads and it's skipped all the way right back down. Okay, right, I found it. Okay, I've missed a few, but Vinny Blair says someone at Kensington Palace needs to tell the princes to button their jackets. Prince Harry walks around for an entire evening holding his jacket together with his finger. Oh, yeah, a bit like that. When there are perfectly good buttons, he does kind of. How does he go? He goes like that, doesn't he? Yes, I think he probably does. The first Mrs. says we call chips steak fries in the UK, but yeah, I think even your steak fries aren't quite the same as our fish and chips from the fish and chip shop. They're very different. Google them. Google fish and chip shop and fish and chips and see what you get. And I bet they are not the same as steak fries. Jamie says, I'm sorry, but considering George VI is my second favourite behind the Queen, George V was an awful father and did nothing as his son was abused. I cannot respect anyone like that. But he was a bit more serious. And I do think William will be a little bit more serious and concerned more with the reputation of the monarchy, is I think what I'm kind of getting at. The first Mrs. R says they are delicious. I think you're talking about the steak fries. David says, I read that Prince William told his mother that he will restore it because she was depressed. Yes, I think he did say it to her, but of course we will have to wait and see if he honours it when he becomes king. Ingrid says, what is the traditional fish and chips there? Is it served with peas? You can have it served with mushy peas, not like garden peas. They have to be mushy peas, curry sauce, gravy, like the sort of gravy that you would have on beef or turkey. What else can you have? Yeah, curry sauce, gravy, mushy peas. And Google a kebab as well, K-E-B-A-B, the British kebab. You'd have a shock. Ingrid says, what did I have for dinner? Nothing yet. I'm going to have it after the live chat. I haven't cooked. And it's going to be nearly 12 o'clock at night when I have my tea. But don't worry. I am fine. Jen said pea soup. No, you don't put pea soup on chips. Hooked on Reason says peas are delicious. Yes, but not garden peas. They have to be mushy. David says, I think that would be great. I'm sure he'd do something to honour his mother when he becomes king. I'm sure he will. Okay, I'm going to try and skip through a few questions because I'm quite far behind on the comments. Janice Hunter says, what time is it here? It's 23:35, so 11:30 in the UK. Diamond Danae says, is that allowed to steal my pics? Well, considering I got them from like Kensington Palace, like that they've released to the public, I guess technically they can, I suppose, but they are ones that I put together in a certain configuration, so I don't know if I have copyright on that or not. I don't know. The simple answer is I don't know. Betsy says TJ Maxx was started in MA. What's that? What's MA? I can't quite get that one. Minneapolis? No, what's MA? In 1976. Jamie says life doesn't come to your doorstep. You have to go out and get the press pass. I think I'll investigate it. Vinny Blair says Prince Charles always looks so dapper and his boys wear the same clothes over and over. Enough with the blue suits. Harry has started to wear a little bit more different stuff. Jamie will give me a knighthood. Thank you so much. Some people saying they should write a letter to the Queen in trying to get an invite to the wedding. I don't think that will work. Patricia says, Elliot, could you stress the political importance of the Scandinavian tour of William and Catherine? People are very distracted with the dresses and fashion, but I believe there is a political strategy there. Yes, there is. And earlier in the chat, I don't know when you joined us, I did speak about it, and it's called soft diplomacy. So do watch on catch up. I haven't got time to go through it all again. But I did talk about it in a big section in the chat, so do go back after this is finished and try and catch up on it, because I did give, I think, an insightful answer, I hope. Hooked on Jesus says, Harry looks good in grey suits and black suits as well, and Meghan Markle from Suits. Ingrid says, good question, Patricia. The first Mrs. R says, and I agree, you should request a press patch. You do an awesome job covering the wedding. Jamie says, I got one from Anne. The Queen and Charles and Camilla. Haven't gotten one from the Wessexes or the Cambridges. They're still late on mine, and I sent mine, when was it? November. I sent mine early November. And yes, you see the Marvin the Royal Hamster calendar, and that's from Christine. Okay. Jamie says, Harry and Meghan as King and Queen of America's very own glorious revolution, the restoration of the American monarchy. Off with my head for even suggesting it. Diamond Danae says, as you know, I received a thanks Christmas card from the Cambridge family, Harry and Meghan, Prince Charles and Camilla, the Queen, and the photo card. I haven't got all mine. Why haven't I got one? Ingrid says, have I watched Victoria? You thought it is dreamy. I love learning about Victoria. Yes, I have watched. I've watched all of it, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I have it on DVD. Cindy says, honestly, Congress can't even pass a budget. No way they would agree on this. Of course, Trump would want to be king. He's such a sleaze. King Trump. King of the Trumps. Jamie says, imagine Trump standing beside the Queen. It would be like Tom and Jerry. It would indeed. Lots of people laughing at King Trump. Ingrid is getting hungry for fish and chips. Betsy says, dinner calls. Goodbye. Goodbye to you, Betsy. Jen says, you wanted to know what happened to Debbie Gibson. She's been fighting with Lyme disease, never got married or had kids, and she's 47. Oh, I didn't know she got Lyme disease. Vinnie Blair says, join the Commonwealth. Are you nuts? Trump thinks Jesus died and made him God of America. I'm sure we'd all like you to join the Commonwealth. I'll let you in. I'll let you into the Commonwealth. There you go. MSNB 2012 says, you're laughing. Trump means passing gas in the UK. How fitting. Milotus Blossom was enjoying non-political conversation. Well, I'm sorry it went to it. The first Mrs. R says, FART Tower. Oh my. Lots of people laughing. Jamie says Donald Windpasser. Susan Sack says, my mum used to say Trump. Well, yeah, I'm not lying. That's what it says. That's what it means in this country. Loretta Hurd says, I'm educated in California, over 50, and due to the American Revolution, we were taught to stay independent. Plus, we won the war, so becoming part of a Commonwealth is out of the question. I think the Commonwealth is taking on a slightly different meaning going forward. It's more like a club, I suppose. I think it's more like a club of nations that share similar values and interests rather than a union politically in terms of being ruled, because no country rules any other in the Commonwealth. It's all an even playing field. So I think it's kind of moved away from being just, ex countries that had the British as their head of state. And yeah, I think for the future it's going to take on more of a club and friend type atmosphere. We will have to wait and see how it evolves, but I do think it is slightly changing. Ingrid says, it's very interesting though how in England one just had to be born to achieve title, not to be voted in. Yes, because it has very different benefits to a country than people that are just voted in, because if you're voted in, you have a political allegiance, you have to play to the people that got you there. If you lose their support, then you will be voted out. You lose an element of continuity. Someone who is born into a position doesn't have to court votes to get there. They are already there. I mean, that, for some people is not very palpable, but it does have the benefit of continuity. You know who your next head of state is going to be down the line. They have longer in the tenure to be able to become experienced at it. And of course, you don't have that changeover every 4 years. We still have a changeover in government and prime minister, but not in the head of state. It's very constant, and that provides its own stability for the country. So, you know, it does have its benefits, even though it may seem a little odd. The First Mrs. R says, if we instituted a monarchy, we'd have a constitutional monarchy, like us. So we'd likely still have a Donald Trump as president, but a king and queen, yes, for fancy events. That is exactly how I believe a monarchy of America would look. Definitely, you'd still have a president, or it could be changed to a prime minister, but it would still have the same, you know, power as a president. But you would have a head of state for ceremonial, fancy events, fountain of honor, sending on, you know, soft diplomatic missions, that kind of thing. Christine says there is a royal palace in Hawaii. Oh, I really want to go to Hawaii. I really do. MSNB 2012 says, I would prefer William and Charles to open our Congress. Oh no, you would prefer William, not Charles, to open the Congress. Oh, well, it would, I don't know, it would probably fall to the heir, probably. Or if Charles couldn't go, then it would be William, perhaps. We're talking totally hypothetically, of course. David says, the best president we had was Lyndon Johnson, who enacted civil rights. Diamond Danae says, we have a castle of sorts. Janice Hunter says, would I consider giving a tour of my home? From what we can see, it looks very quaint. I have posted a few pictures on my Patreon, so if you want to head over there, there are a few pictures somewhere. And I did do a snow video of my garden, but maybe I could do a full house tour on my other channel, maybe. Okay, I'm going to skip a few. Some of you are saying they would love a London meetup. I would too, actually. That would be really, really good. First Mrs. R says there is a map that shows where all the royal palaces are. Jen says Markle will never change her style. She's an American. MSNB 2012 says great explanation of royal versus private security. It is very, 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 very different. I'm trying to skip through a few questions. Cindy Markle says, as far as fashion, you have a great taste. Thank you so much. Classy and well groomed. Time Danae says the 40s and 50s is hard to wear today, but it was a nice look. You are right. Christine says, fashion wise, you like the 20s, aka Downton Abbey era. Jen likes French fries. Annette says, okay, 40s as long as there are trouser suits. You hate dresses, too cold. Yes, I think they did wear. I mean, I'm sure I remember. The Duchess of Windsor wearing trouser suits, but that may have been in the 60s, maybe. But anyway, she did still have that look, the 40s look, and wore trousers. So yes, I believe it would work. Diamond Day says, someone explained to me how the eyebrows saw so many 20 plus with the same eyebrows at a gathering this week. The stamp. I told you, it's the stamp. They buy these stamps and they stamp them on. They stamp their eyebrows on and then they colour them in. I mean, where do they buy their makeup from? Crayola? I mean, their makeup is sponsored by Crayola these days, I swear. Oh, they stamp them on. It's just horrendous. And yes, Hooked on Jesus says it's horrendous the way they dress today. Jill says, I love your opinion on fashion. Spot on. This Mrs. R says, I think people in general dress more formally and were put together in the 50s. A man wasn't dressed unless he was wearing a hat. A hat can make a man look so sharp. Yes, people took pride, and I don't know, people today think that the more they show, I think the American or Canadian term, I'm not sure what it is hoochie. They dress hoochie. And all this hoochie has got to stop. Stop the hoochie. No hoochie. We do not want hoochie. MSMB2012 says, you all sound like old people. Me included. I am practically a pensioner in my head anyway. Susan says, hate the clothes with holes all over. And what is with these swimsuits that these girls are wearing that have like the bikini top, and then there's a strip of material that goes down with like a key ring, like a hole, and then it goes down and fastens onto the bikini bottoms. What is with that? Why do they? What's the strip thing? Imagine the tan lines. Crikey, it's ridiculous. It really is. So okay, no, I've read that one. Ingrid says, thank you. You're a classy fellow, so no wonder you like classy women. I agree. Women today look and dress so cheap. And Jen says she's not old. MSMB 2012 says, you kids get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. Yes, I am just like that. And Jill says, that would include Sarah's title. No, because she's not the divorced mother of a future monarch. When I say future monarch, I mean it would probably be an immediate line. Maybe they would stipulate so many places in the line. So that probably wouldn't include Sarah. So Jamie's saying the same thing. Would that mean that Fergie would get hers back? I would, like I say, I would imagine it would. They would set a placing. So maybe 5 places, or it would be the immediate line post monarch's grandchildren or something. I don't know. They would probably stipulate a certain point, maybe like 5 places, that kind of thing. Ingrid says, yes, Susan, girls today tend to look, they think they look cool wearing holy jeans when it looks terrible. I agree. Who wants to wear clothes that look like they've been eaten by moths? The first Mrs. R says, but could Charles have married Camilla if Diana was still alive? Yes, because they were divorced. So it would have been the same kind of wedding that they had anyway. Ingrid says, I think Camilla dresses very classy, and so does Catherine. I agree. I love Camilla's hats. I really do. Hooked on Jesus says, I can't stand the short shorts and skinny jeans on men, especially Bath. Men are wearing like these weird leggings now, and I don't like them. I probably couldn't even fit in them anyway. Yeah, and all these tattoos and things up their arm. Their arms look like toilet walls. No, I don't like them. And yes, crazy coloured hairs. Yes, I'm not particularly keen. Okay, I think I'm finally getting down the comments. The first Mrs. R says, William might have given her... Oh, I skipped again. I'm going to have to go back and find the question. But I did see the word Margaret Beaufort, and you're right. Because Margaret Beaufort was My Lady the King's mother, I do believe. But let me go back up and see if I can find it. Because I thought that was quite a good comment. Let's go back up. Back up. Okay, I was more down than what I thought. Okay, where is that comment about Margaret? Ah, here we go. William might have given her the title Margaret Beaufort, took something like Her Royal Highness Diana Wales the King. No, it would have been Her Royal Highness My Lady the King's mother, which is kind of like the opposite for Queen's mother, but the King's mother, and that is indeed what Henry gave his mother, Margaret Beaufort, back in Tudor times. So yes, that is indeed a title that could have been given to Diana had she lived. Okay, let me go. Loretta Hurd says, if Prince Philip is Prince of the UK, isn't the Princess of the UK a lesser title of the Queen? when she would have been Princess Elizabeth, she would have been a princess of the United Kingdom, but obviously the Queen title trumps it, and that's obviously got swallowed up with her big Queen title, obviously. Oh dear says Charles, as head of the Church of England, could not have married Camilla if Diana was still alive. I do believe it would have made no difference because he still married Camilla, and Camilla was divorced. So the fact that they allowed them to get married with one party being divorced, I believe it would have been the same thing for Charles. It would have been a marriage in a civil ceremony with a church blessing, and the Church of England would have issued some kind of statement accepting the marriage as legal, which is what they did anyway because of Camilla being divorced. So they would have just extended it to him as well. So I do believe they would have still have gotten married regardless. I think that's kind of like a fixed point in time and a thing that would have happened anyway. Okay, now I'm going to have to skip. Oh, Ingrid says, one thing, do I think Harry is tired of Meghan hanging on to him? I notice him holding his arm away from her sometimes. She does appear clingy at points, but I think she is just finding her feet. And yes, I have been on over 1.5 hours. Ask Tom the Tord says, can you see my comments? Yes, I can, but I'm quite far behind in the comments. I'm trying to skip down to see. Okay. Oh no! Okay, some people are saying what's with the snide comments regarding Meghan. Someone said wrong. Octandri said wrong. Jamie said Harry looks good in Meghan Markle from Suits. No, I did. Okay, that looks really bad. Read back. No, I didn't mean that. I meant oh no, that sounds awful. No, I meant he looks good with Meghan Markle from Suits and Meghan Markle wearing a suit because she's from Suits. No. Oh no, that read really wrong. Okay, I'm going all red now. You probably can't see because of the ring light. No, I meant something completely different to what I probably said. Oh no, did I say that he looked good in Meghan Markle from Suits? No, okay. No, let me backtrack and rectify. I did not mean that. Oh dear. No, I did not mean that. That was a slip of the tongue. Moving on. Ask Tom Lord says, who has had this guy actually say your question? Everybody, because I get to you all eventually. Even you, Tom. Tom says, bye, I'm being ignored. No, you're not. I just haven't got to you yet. But I've got to you now and you're probably gone. Ingrid says, what are my plans for tomorrow? Maybe some more t-shirt hunting. I may get lucky again. Okay, some people saying it's the Super Bowl tomorrow. Go Eagle says, do I watch the Super Bowl? I sometimes like to tune in for the halftime show, but because of the time difference, the halftime show is like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning. So I often record it and kind of skip to the halftime show. Is that really bad? I like the halftime show. But we don't really, American football isn't really big in the UK because we have what you guys call soccer, which I know in America is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. But American football is never, ever, ever going to become mega popular in the UK. But it is shown over here, but it is late. But I do really enjoy the halftime show. And in particular, I enjoyed Madonna's halftime show. I did like that. Ingrid says, have I seen the Netflix series Versailles? No, I haven't. That is one that I did kind of want. Zeth says, am I from Birmingham? Shropshire, which is kind of close to Birmingham, maybe. Susan says, hit the like button. Yes, give me your big thumbs up. Jamie says, well, Hawaii used to be part of Britain, so that's why there's a palace there. Indeed. Now, I'm just trying to skip down a little bit. Zest says, you sound like you're from Birmingham. I hope I don't sound like I'm from Birmingham. Not that there's anything wrong with people sound like they come from Birmingham, but I'm hoping it's not quite what I sound like. And Jamie giving us some facts. Are you ready for a fact? Hawaii was part of the British Empire from 1795 until 1893. Oh, by the way, did you enjoy my impersonation of the Queen in one of my videos? I was reading a message that the Wessexes delivered on their tour of Sri Lanka from the Queen, and I tried to do a Queen voice, and I'm not sure whether I did a good job or not. So let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed it. Ingrid says, please do some impersonations before you go. You're so funny. Who do you want to see? What impersonation do you want to see? MSNB says 2012 with the stamped eyebrow. They do. They stamp them on. They get a big finger. They've got these. They use stamps. It's ridiculous. They stamp on the right. No. Okay. What's really weird is they spend forever shaving them off and plucking them to nothing, and then they stamp them back on again. What is it? What is with it? Ugh. I mean, why can't people just have nice brows? Ugh. So annoying. Joe Bop says, hey all from Shanghai. Happy Chinese New Year. Oh, happy Chinese New Year to you too. And my Chinese New Year, my animal is the water pig. There you go. Christine says, I liked the Queen's voiceover. Well, I'm glad you did. Donna says, so funny. Hooked on Jesus says, swimsuits are just another form of bra and undies. Hooked on Jesus says, they seem so skimpy. They do indeed. Hooked on Jesus says, put it away, I say. I concur. They should wear bed sheets in the water. Arnold Sanders says, I just get the feeling that Harry and Meghan are going to spend a lot of time in Africa. Yes, I do think they may even get a little bolt hole in Africa, maybe. Oh dear says, from time to time, thinks that I, from time to time, channel Hyacinth Bouquet. I do like Hyacinth, yes, you are quite right. And yes, they are my old soul moments. And I do indeed have some Hyacinth Bouquet values. Susan says, no hoochie mamas. That's it, hoochie mamas. I saw it somewhere on, when I used to, oh, who was it? Who had all the hoochie mamas on? It was from the 90s, and it was a talk show, and it was a Ricky Lake. Ricky Lake from the 90s used to have hoochie mamas and hair weaves. Hair weave wars. Oh, I loved those. They were amazing. Hair weave wars and hoochie mamas. So no hoochie mamas. Definitely not. Unless you're a royal hoochie. Susan loves Hyacinth. Oh no, I've gone up again. Quick, where am I? Okay, up, 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 up. Up, up, up. Okay, I'm going up. Up, 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 up. Okay. Oh no, I have still. I thought I was near the bottom, but I'm not. Okay, lots of people saying they're not keen on tattoos. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hooked on Jesus says, otherwise you might as well hang out with the Kardashians. Melody says, I hope Harry has a chance to give Meghan the full tour of Windsor. It's such an incredible place. It is indeed. Lynn J says, I'm not keen on tattoos. Lots of people agreeing. And I particularly hate all these big sleeves and things. Things that take up too much skin. Hooked on Jesus says, sorry, I will admit that they are a form of art and can be pretty, but I'm just not a fan of them that much. No hard feelings. I think I can appreciate with tattoos that they are artistic. Some of them can be very, very well done. Some of them can be very artistic pieces. However, I kind of have a problem with the permanence of something being permanently on your skin that you can't get rid of. Whereas a tattoo may represent who you are in the moment that you have it, I do worry that a lot of people will not be that same person in 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Some people might. Some people may very well love them forever. But I think we're going to see a growing number of people having tattoos removed. But the problem is when people are getting so many of them that they are all up the arms, down the legs, on the tummy, on the back, everywhere, you feasibly can't remove all of them and you're stuck. And I do worry that a lot of young people are getting them in the moment and then will be a regretter later. And I do worry about that because I think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be regretters in 10, 20, 30, 40 years' time. I don't think they will be fashionable for long. I mean, let's think back to tattoo fashions. You know, what was it in the early noughties and in the 90s? No, in the 90s, tribal tattoos were fashionable. People got tribal tattoos. Now, tribal in the world of tattoos is not fashionable. People are getting them covered up. Now it's more like intricate and designs and shading and all that kind of thing. But what happens when that goes out of fashion and something else comes in? You're stuck. You can't change it. It's tattooed on your skin. So I have a problem with the permanence of it, not it being an artistic expression. Just to make that clear. Diamond Janae says, good night and enjoy some food. Thank you. Needed this tonight more than ever. Good night to all. Lynn says, yes, the big holes actually smell bad too, so I wouldn't encourage. MSNB 2012 says, no, Elliot, they were referring to Jen and Hooked on Jesus for their constant snide comments about Meghan. But I think I may have said something that I didn't mean as well. A slip of the tongue, maybe. Okay, I am skipping down a few comments. Okay, a few people are leaving, so goodbye to you if you have left. I'm still skipping down. Going down. Okay, I think I have finally... Have I made it to the bottom? Okay, I made it to the bottom, and we're on turkey burgers. Now I'm going to have a look at my little list, and I think I may have made a Royal Reviewer record with the amount of time I've been on. I don't know. So let me see if I've missed anything. The Queen was at RAF Marham this week, and she was wearing a delightful purple ensemble. She looked incredible. She looked really happy, really healthy. Do go and check out that video. Let me see. Oh, Catherine's hairstylist. I believe it's somebody, Amanda Cook. She shared a photograph on Twitter this week of her preparations for the royal tour. So she posted a photo of all Catherine's hair brushes, and then I think there was 13 different hair brushes and 2 hair dryers and different sprays. Everything that she used on Catherine's hair. So if you want hair like Catherine, you need to get all of those combs and brushes and hair dryers and things, because that's what it takes to be a duchess. Jamie says, Elliot, can you tell us where you saw Harry in Meghan from Suits? Yes, that's what I said, and I didn't mean it like that. It sounds disgusting when you read it back. And I did not mean that. Because it really is gross. No, I have not seen Harry in Meghan from Suits. I meant something completely different. Jamie says, 2 or 3 minutes off the longest chat ever. Well, in that case, I am going to stay on for at least 5 just to break that record. Jen says, you can't see my tattoos. They are not showable. That is a sensible... If you are going to have a tattoo, make sure they are in a place where you can hide them if you need to or want to, or if they are something that you don't like in the future. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I've missed. Oh, the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, met Digby, the This Morning television show dog, and it was a really lovely meeting. So if you want to see video footage of Charles playing with a dog, go to my video about Charles and the dog. We've spoken about everything else. Oh, by the way, if you are a member of my Patreon, so it's Royal Reviewer on Patreon and you're a patron, I want to know your comments on what you would like to see for rewards. I'm thinking about revamping the reward system and maybe adding additional tiers. Let me know what you would like to receive as a reward for being a Royal Reviewer supporter on Patreon. I already have an exclusive Facebook group, so if you're not in that yet, please request to join. I send out personalized handwritten birthday cards for $10 a month and over subscribers. If you're $20 a month or over subscriber, you get a name check in each of these live chats. If you check the description, then there are names in there. So let me know what you would like to see as a reward, and I may be able to make it possible. But I'm out of ideas. So let me know what you actually would like to see. Okay, so I think I've probably broken my record by now. So I am going to go. Thank you for this amazingly long live chat. It took me so long to get to the bottom of the comments, but that's really good because it shows that you're all asking really, really, really good questions that are keeping me busy talking, which is good. So from me in Shropshire, I am going to go now and start cooking my dinner. So look out for future videos this week. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video or do a surprise pop-up chat. If you're online, you will get a notification if you hit the notification bell. Of course, share and like on social media too. So from me in Shropshire, good night and goodbye.